In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a traffic light with this module with Arduino. This is going to be a series of tutorials showing you how to add different functionalities to this traffic light that we will be making. Also, if you don't have this module, just have LEDs, you will also be able to follow along. And I'm going to show you how to connect this to the Arduino and also show you the code it takes to get it working. So without further ado, guys, let's get started. Okay, so now I want to go ahead and explain how this traffic light module works. And so basically how it works is we have a G&D pin. This pin is responsible to provide G&D to all of these three LEDs on this traffic light. Then we have the all pin, which is responsible to provide positive power to the red LED. Then we have the Y pin, which is responsible to provide positive power to the Y LED, to the yellow LED. Then we have the G pin, which is responsible to provide positive power to the green LED. You don't need to connect resistors to these pins because they're already resistors mounted onto this traffic light, so you don't need to connect resistors to them. But you don't need this for this tutorial. You can connect just regular LEDs with resistors. That could be anywhere from 200 ohms up to 470 ohms would be good, but in this case I'm just using the module. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and set up the circuit. Now, as you can see, I have the Arduino Nano. You can use any type of Arduino for this. You can use the Arduino Uno, Arduino Mega, anything like that. In this case, I'm just using the Arduino Nano because you can just mount it onto the board. So I'm going to go ahead and connect pin 12. And I'm going to go ahead and connect it here because pin 12 is going to be connected to the all pin on the traffic light, which is connected to the red LED. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect G&D on the traffic light to G&D on the Arduino Nano. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and connect pin 11 on the Arduino Nano to the Y pin on the traffic light. Then we'll go ahead and connect pin 10 on the Arduino Nano. We'll be connecting that to the G pin on the traffic light, also known as the green LED. So basically that is the circuit. Now we can go ahead and look at our code. Okay, so now here is the code, and as you can see we have our pins right here. We have pin 12, which is, as we have said, that is connected to the red LED on the traffic light. And then we have pin 11, which is connected to the yellow LED on the traffic light. And then we have pin 10, which is connected to the green LED on the traffic light. Now you may be wondering, why is there now 11 right here? Well, as we go through the traffic light, first we turn on red, and then we turn on yellow, and then we turn on green, and then we go back up again. We go to once green is on, and we're going to turn back on yellow, and then we're going to turn back on red, and then so on. We'll do that over and over again, and we need to do it in that order. So basically we're going to have num down here, which is also a variable that's an integer, and this will be holding the number of where we are in this array, which number we should turn on to bright up the specific LED that's connected to that pin. So first it's going to be red, telling cars to stop, and then it's going to be yellow, telling cars that it's about to turn green. And then that's what we're going to do here. We're going to turn it green, and then after it's green for a little while, then we want to turn it back to yellow, saying that we're going to go back to red. And so that's what we do here. We turn it back to yellow right here, and then we start all over the array, turn it red again, then turn green, and so on. That's why we have 11 back here to turn on green as well when the traffic light is about to turn red again. And the same thing with the delays. These are basically holding how long these LEDs will remain on. So at first, the red LED, we would want it to be on for 5 seconds. Now, of course, in the future tutorials, we will make this so we can adjust this time so it can be longer or shorter based on whatever or how long we want it to work. But for right now, this is the bare minimum, and so we just already have the time set in the code, which is quite short or quite small times, but it's just for the example to see this thing working. So the first thing is we have 1000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. Now, this delay is not for pin 11, but actually this delay will be the delay for pin 11, how long the red LED will remain on. And then this delay is for how long pin 11 will remain on. Okay, you'll see more about this later on, but basically, essentially, we are turning red and green on for 5 seconds, and we're turning green on for 1 second. Because as you know, with a traffic light, usually the green light, it doesn't stay on for a very long time compared to green or red. And then I've already explained about this right here. This num variable is just holding which delay value and which pin we are currently at, which pin will brighten up, and how long we should keep that pin on. And then we have last millis. This is for the millis function because we're going to be detecting how long we need to wait until we come back in and go to the next LED that needs to be turned on. So the last millis is basically holding the last time we have done something with these LEDs, so we know how long we need to wait until we go back in and bright up another LED on the traffic light. But if you don't know a lot about the millis function, I have a link down below to a millis function tutorial that I have made in the past. Consider going to that video if you want to see more about the millis function. Then we go into the void setup and we go ahead and set up all of our pins. That's what this for loop is doing. And so it's basically setting up only the first 3 pins in the display. It's not going to set up pin 11 again. So it's only going to go through these right here, because as you see, we make j equal to 0 at first, and we're going to continue looping this for loop as long as j is less than or equal to 2. Okay, and every single time we increment j so that we go through this array right here. So we're going to go through this pins array, and we're going to put them all to output. So we're going to set up these 3 pin numbers. We're not going to use this one because we already have set up pin 11 right here. Then we come into the void loop, and we go ahead and do if millis minus last millis. So this right here is just going to give us how long we have been out of this if statement right here. Because down here, if we come into this statement, we see that last millis equals to millis. Last millis is going to be basically equal to what millis was equal to the last time we were in this if statement. So we're not going to come back in here until this right here is greater than delay num, which is the specific delay that we have for the pin number. So for example, if we are at 11, meaning that we need to turn on the red LED, then we're going to delay 1 millisecond. Now you may be wondering, okay, well, I thought the red LED was supposed to turn on for 5 seconds. Well, the thing is, we haven't turned on the red LED yet. Most likely the green LED is still on. It's on right now. We are waiting to come into this if statement while the green LED is on. So we need to delay 1 second. But once we come in here and we turn on the red LED, then we want to delay 5 milliseconds while the red LED is on until we come in there and turn on pin 11, which is the yellow LED. So that's basically how this works. So that's what's going on here. We basically, whatever num is at, that's going to be the delay that we are going to be waiting. So let's say, for example, pin 11, which means that right now, while we're waiting to come into this statement, the red LED will be on. And we will be waiting 5 seconds to come into this if statement. Until once that time is up and this calculation right here is greater than it, then we come into this if statement. And what we do is we set all the digital pins, all of the pins on the traffic light to low. And then we turn on the num pin, the pin that is supposed to be on now. We turn that pin high. So only 1 LED on the traffic light is on. That's why we turn all these off, and we'll turn on the one that needs to be on now. And then we also make last millis equal to millis, as we said, so that we know when we can come back into this if statement and go to the next LED. And then in here we say if num is less than 3, then come into this if statement. So every single time we come into this if statement, we want to increment num to go to the next LED. So that's what we do here. We increment num if num is less than 3. If it's not less than 3, then that means we can't go to, we don't have another number in the array. As you see right here, we only have 4 digits, which in this case is 0, 1, 2, and 3. So the maximum number, or the maximum index in our arrays right here is 3. We can't go any higher. There's no more indexes higher than 3. So once it's 3, then we want to do something else. We want to make num equal to 0. So if this is false, and let's say num is equal to 3, then we're going to come into the else statement of this if statement and set num to equal to 0, and then we'll break out of this else statement and continue on, and we'll do this over and over again. So essentially that is basically the basic code for this video and this tutorial, and so now we go ahead and see our project in action. Okay, so now here is the project, and here is the red LEDs on, and then the yellow LED will turn on for a short time, and then the green LED will turn on. I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of faint, but, and then it would go ahead and go back to yellow, and then go ahead and back to red, and it'll keep on doing this over and over again. So basically that is our first tutorial on this traffic light. We'll be adding much more, so stay tuned for the other ones because I'll be adding so much more functionality to this traffic light. So guys, if you like this video, consider giving this video a like. Also comment down below if you have any questions, and consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this. Thank you everyone. Have a great day. Bye.